Coming up next on this edition of In the City, more jobs could potentially be making their way to Murfreesboro. Plus, we'll tell you why some parents may soon be having separation anxiety. And those who are shaping future generations through their work in the classroom are receiving recognition. But first, there's one city department that's laying out building plans for a necessary improvement. We'll tell you all about this and more coming up right now on this edition of In the City. Welcome to another edition of In the City, your source for what's happening right here in the city of Murfreesboro. I'm Callie Durham. The City Police Department's plans for the future are incorporating ways to better serve the needs of a growing community. Here's a first look at the preliminary plans. Plans showcasing a glimpse into the future for Murfreesboro's police department were recently unveiled to city leaders in a meeting held at City Hall.
We're very excited about the plans that have been presented tonight. We think they represent a great mixture of reusing and repurposing an existing property, the old Murfreesboro Medical Clinic, and taking that facility and building it into a modern, state-of-the-art police facility for the city of Murfreesboro that will serve our citizens for many, many, many years in the future.
Ken & Calhoun Workshop, the Nashville-based professional architecture and design firm that is heading up the new police headquarters, gave a lengthy presentation to Murfreesboro City Council members, city administrators, and MPD leadership regarding proposed plans for the new headquarters.
You'll see more open space for citizens and persons that need police services to come into a lobby area. Pretty much one-stop shop for point-of-service things that citizens will need when they visit police headquarters.
Preliminary plans for construction and renderings were discussed about the existing structure, which is located at 1004 Highland Avenue. You may know it as the former home of the Murfreesboro Medical Clinic. Chief Chrisman tells us why buying an existing structure was a smart move.
In reclaiming and repurposing the existing building and transforming it into a modern state-of-the-art building, we're not only adding back to the neighborhood that's seen so many buildings move out with the relocation of the properties to Medical Center Parkway, but also reusing that structure and saving our taxpayers a substantial amount of money over what new construction would cost for a building that size.
According to the projected budget, the total cost of construction is estimated to be around $36 million. But seeing as MPD headquarters has been at its current location on South Church Street since 1973, MPD's headquarters are due for a substantial and necessary improvement.
We are out of space for the collection of property and evidence in the police building, and there's a significant amount of storage spaces built into this new facility that will allow us to much more efficiently and effectively manage that property and evidence that comes into the police building every day.
Chrisman was part of a group that visited other public safety buildings to explore the facility's designs and resources in states like Colorado and California, and was able to gain some ideas from the buildings that they toured to put into the design for the new MPD headquarters.
The building plan for the Highland property incorporates virtually all of the modern design concepts that we saw when we visited sites in California and Colorado and Utah. And at the same time, they're built around the design needs of the facility as have been articulated by the end users.
The building's modern features are set to include more open areas, a spacious dispatch center, and secured parking for MPD staff. It will also feature one new addition that will be great for a rapidly growing city.
It has the provision built into it for an emergency operations center that's contiguous to an additional set of emergency spaces for our police fire dispatchers. So heaven forbid, in the event that you needed to have a space that will be operationally prepared for that kind of need.
And most importantly, the new headquarters will give MPD more space, technology, and resources to better serve Murfreesboro's citizens.
I think the building will just be a lot more user-friendly. It's built with growth in mind. It's built with cutting-edge technology and modern amenities in mind. And at the end of the day, I think really what police are charged to do is to serve the public and be professional, respectful, courteous public servants, and I think this building will help us do that.
MPD held the meeting in an effort to hear any concerns or comments from city leaders so that they can be incorporated into plans before the project goes out for bidding to construction companies later this year.
What we wanted to do tonight was introduce the concepts to the council. I think generally they liked what they saw. They gave us some suggestions for change, and certainly we'll incorporate those into the next round of the development process. The timeline would be to have a set of bid documents out for contractors probably by early summer of this year. Hopefully have a contractor awarded and on board by late summer, early fall, begin construction then, and hopefully be ready to move into the new building in the fall of 2016.
A local developer is moving forward in creating the perfect attraction to bring jobs to Murfreesboro.
This is an artist rendering of what the finished product looks like when all the phases are built out.
The rendition shows a 150-foot wide promenade or boulevard down through the middle of Class A office buildings to be called the Fountains at Gateway. It's planned near St. Thomas Rutherford Hospital. Hearthstone developer Scott Graby recently unveiled the three-phase plan and got city backing.
The Fountains at Gateway is a mixed-use project in the Gateway that's going to include Class A office space. That Class A office space, the Chamber and I believe, can be a difference maker.
A difference maker because city leaders hope the turnkey-ready 100,000 square foot office building, Phase 1A, will attract new jobs and potentially another corporate headquarters.
What Mr. Graby is proposing is a speculative office building. We've been successful in the Gateway, but most of our projects there have been end users. They had a specific footprint, architecture, and employees to come in and locate in the Gateway. But one of the things that the community lacks in terms of inventory is significant space for the company who wants to move quickly.
Phase 1B would offer retail and restaurant space, but under the contract, the office building must come first.
Now, he can build the retail and/or restaurant building simultaneous to the office building, but what this contract requires is the office building has to be going vertical as the first building out of the ground.
Because these will be more specialty shops, restaurants, service businesses, hair salon, those types of businesses.
Under the contract, Graby pays the city $5 per square foot, $2.61 million for the initial 12 acres of land to build the first building. Phases 2 and 3 on the full 31 acres include incentives.
That is, the number of jobs go up and the average annual salary in the office buildings go up. There is a credit applied to the land sale price for the subsequent phases.
The additional phases would provide public space for musical concerts and other events.
What's really innovative about this project is the public space between the buildings, having that first floor retail, public seating areas, sound system, LED lighting, potentially even a stage that could have some entertainment at Christmas time or around holidays where he could even change the color of the LED lighting.
We are really excited about this project. From my perspective, I think this is a game changer for the city of Murfreesboro. To have turnkey Class A office space available is huge. This is something that Murfreesboro needs and will be a real asset to our community.
If the development phases don't go as planned, there are protections. But Lyons hopes the so-called clawback provisions in the contract won't be necessary to protect taxpayers.
So, depending on the scenario about whether something was built or not, the city, could reacquire the land. Mr. Graby would be out some site prep costs, or we would cancel, future phases.
The Middle Tennessee real estate market, both residential and commercial, is described as red hot, and the city wants to be ready for the next corporate prospect to move into Murfreesboro. Much has been said lately about Murfreesboro's image. Graby's vision for more than just a building could go a long way toward enhancing the image as more than a small suburban town, but a growing progressive community of the future.
I've never had a project that captured my imagination like this one has, and everybody I've spoken to, it's like it's captured their imagination, and I think it's because all of us realize Murfreesboro's got some incredible untapped potential.
Developers think the first office building could be ready by early 2016. Mike Browning, CityTV.
The granddaughter of a worldwide hero visited the city to honor those who are committed to leaving a legacy.
Serving 27 years in prison before becoming South Africa's first black president, Nelson Mandela left a legacy for others to follow, including his granddaughter, Nlika Mandela, who carries on the message. Nlika recently traveled from her home in Johannesburg to Murfreesboro, where she visited Scales Elementary and encouraged students to find a purpose and leave their own legacy.
Sitting in this room is what we have to nurture as this generation, but you, our next presidents, perhaps in this room sit our next Obama or our next president or Bush or whoever. So education is the most important thing.
Leaving a legacy was the purpose of Mandela's trip to Murfreesboro. She served as the keynote speaker for the 5th Annual Faith Awards, which stands for First African American in the history of Murfreesboro.
And you know, it's all about legacy. Life is so short. You know, moments turns into seconds, seconds into minutes, minutes into hours, hours into days, days into months, months into years, and boom, we're gone. So while we are here, God has ordained all of us to find our passion and go for it.
This year is special for Madeline Scales Harris. Her father, Robert W. Scales Sr., is a fallen legacy recipient, along with 8 others, including 2 Murfreesboro police officers who rose in the ranks of leadership, Byron Motley and Johnny Mosby.
Well, Johnny Mosby was an outstanding man. He was an outstanding police officer.
Mosby was a leader in the police department and the city of Murfreesboro. His career spanned 42 years.
Over the course of that time, he was a police officer. He served as a sergeant, a lieutenant, a captain, a major, and finally, it was my great privilege to be able to appoint him as an assistant chief of police, which is the position he held at the time of his retirement. Johnny Mosby was just a good man. He loved people. People loved him. He had a strong leadership quality about him that allowed him to do the right things and make tough decisions in difficult situations.
As Chief Chrisman plainly put it, people loved Johnny Mosby and he loved them back. Another Fallen Legacy winner who also rose through the ranks of MPD was Byron Motley. Motley drowned while saving the life of a child in Brentwood, an unselfish act of heroism and bravery that ended his life, but not his legacy.
He was attuned to what issues were in the area of our city that had been home to him when he grew up. He liked to be involved. He liked to contribute. He liked to mentor people that were around him that were within his sphere of influence. And he was much beloved in this community.
As someone others looked to for answers, Motley made substantial contributions to the police department in training. Like the story of her grandfather, Nlika Mandela says these are stories that need to be told.
For me, legacies they're about history. They're about posterity and continuity. And as a people, if we don't carry on with the legacies of our communities or of our families, we are people that are lost.
Her grandfather became an iconic figure and showed others how to give back.
He didn't do that on his own. He did it through God's grace.
If not for God, she believes her grandfather would have simply died in prison. The Faith Awards are about just that, faith and its power.
It now has come to signify faith in terms of spirituality.
But the message of the Fallen Legacies is not just about them, but about those who come after them and the duty to carry on their legacies.
If we don't carry on our legacy, because who we are is who we were. We learn from what comes from history. History informs our future.
Robert Scales Sr., better known as T90, was the first black elected to the City Council in 1964 and the first in the entire South since Reconstruction. He held the position for 24 years and served as vice mayor for 16. Most of all, he left a legacy for doing good and helping the down and out.
He paved the way for a lot of us to come behind them. Showed a whole lot of leadership through different times. I really didn't understand at that time, but you grow to understand that somebody has to step in that fold and pave the way.
Fallen Legacy winners Robert Scales, Johnny Mosby, and Byron Motley changed the narrative for their family and their community. It's our duty to make sure the narrative lives throughout history.
Somebody told me one time that, visionaries or leadership people see things that nobody else can see. Well, that comes from God.
So Murfreesboro, we're so blessed to have the legacies that we've had, and it's nothing but God.
In an effort to illustrate the fatal effects of distracted driving, various emergency units teamed up at a local high school. I'm here at Riverdale High School in Murfreesboro, where you can see behind me that's actually a Lifelight helicopter which came to campus today to show students what actually happens during a traumatic accident. Here's more on the story. Hundreds of Riverdale High School students stepped outside the classroom to get a lesson about the dangers of distracted driving. The high school was conducting a mock crash scene.
This has been a year-long project that we've been working on with Monroe Carroll Jr. Children's Hospital at Vanderbilt, and it is called BITS, Be in the Zone, Turn Off Your Phone. That's what our t-shirts are for. It's been a campaign that we've done numerous outreaches for here at school and in the community as well. What we wanted to do was bring awareness to driving while texting and distracted driving and the accidents that it could cause.
The Murfreesboro Fire and Rescue Department, Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, and the Rutherford County Emergency Medical Service arrived at around 9 a.m. and assessed the scene. The mock crash showed a distracted driver who was texting behind the wheel. His actions resulted in a crash that left one driver dead and multiple others injured. The student portraying a distracted driver was arrested after causing the fatal accident. Penny Kell, the Riverdale teacher who organized the mock crash, explains her hopes for students witnessing the drill.
I hope that it will impact them. I do think that students at this age are above danger in their mind. That's part of growing up and realizing if I could get 10 people out of this crowd to put that phone down, then I would be happy with that.
And the arrival of a Vanderbilt Medical Center Lifelight helicopter certainly captured the attention of students. The helicopter arrived at the scene to simulate an emergency response to the fatal crash, giving students a further look into the seriousness of this type of situation.
Distracted driving campaigns are really important because more phones are available to people, and when they're out driving, it's just something that is secondhand to them. They look down at their phone, and the next thing you know, they could be in an accident. And so it's just very important for people to realize that it's a no-phone zone, and you just put your phone away and that text.
Mobile communications are linked to a significant increase in the amount of distracted driving, resulting in injuries and death. And the rise in distracted driving makes the importance of holding school-wide awareness programs like this mock crash even more essential.
If you could look at it as each one reach one, we have a student population of over 2,000 here at Riverdale, and if each student goes away today knowing what happened and they just told one person, that's 4,000 people that knew, and they told one person, then that's 8,000 people. And if you could just continue that, I think we really could start the movement.
According to a Pew Research Center survey, 40% of all American teens say that they've been in a car when the driver used a cell phone in a way that put others in danger. It's easy to see that this educational experience is an impactful method to influence today's youth.
I was underneath the sheet, I was the DOA, and when my friend was shouting my name, and I heard her start crying, and I was underneath the sheet and I started crying because it's tough to think that I could be in this situation or someone I know has been or will be in this situation.
Program organizers are hoping that other local high schools will plan on holding similar mock drills in an effort to teach more students about the effects of distracted driving. You can see now the Life Flight helicopter is getting ready to head back to Vanderbilt. It was actually delayed for today's event here at Riverdale due to having to attend to an actual accident. While today's event was a fictional one, it is something that happens far too often in reality. Hopefully with educational events like today, students will learn to put down their phones when driving. Reporting at Riverdale High School, I'm Callie Durham, CityTV. The hard work of teachers is not going unnoticed as Murfreesboro City Schools has recently named its Teachers of the Year award recipients for the 2014-2015 school year. Murfreesboro City Schools is recognizing its 2014-2015 Teachers of the Year award recipients. 2 teachers were recognized from each of Murfreesboro City's 12 elementary schools, and 2 teachers were recognized as Teachers of the Year for the overall school district, and they will advance to the regional competition.
We'd like to congratulate the Teachers of the Year. We have the individual Teachers of the Year from the schools and then the district level Teachers of the Year. From Black Fox, we have Meredith Patram and Kim Markajak. From Northfield, we have Lori Hollis and Tammy Sutton. From John Pittard, Alicia Herbison and Bethany Jackson. From Hobgood, Martin Ridgely and Amanda Counts. From Cason Lane, Angela Pitts and Amy Miller. From Scales, Richard Alexander and Lynn Watson. From Overall Creek, Ben White and Rebecca Sublett. From Mitchell Nelson, Denise Crumbaugh and Allison Murphy. From Maurice Rogers, Susan Heiser, Noelle Koenig. From Bradley, Jessica Peterson, Kelly Jones. From Irma Siegel, Jill Taylor, Tracy Harris. And from Discovery School, Shay Payne and Melissa Carnes. And the district Teachers of the Year are from Reese Rogers, Dr. Susan Heiser, who is the physical education teacher there. And from Hobgood, Martin Ridgely, who is a first grade teacher. And they will be moving on to regional competition and then to state competition. So we congratulate all those Teachers of the Year.
The Teacher of the Year program recognizes and honors outstanding teachers in Tennessee. The program is designed to promote recognition, respect, and appreciation for teachers, to inspire interest in teaching as a career, and to encourage public involvement in education. The program recognizes teachers who care about children, demonstrate exceptional gains in student achievement, and who devote their professional lives to enriching the lives of Tennessee children. In order to be considered for an award, the candidate must be in at least their 5th year of teaching in Tennessee public schools and have a track record of exceptional gains in student learning. But it doesn't stop there. The teacher must also fill multiple other requirements, including having a broad understanding of research-based models for effective teaching and be knowledgeable of current trends and issues in education. He or she must also be able to show evidence of positive teacher effect over time through their students' achievements, plus be able to explain, discuss, and defend a personal philosophy of teaching. They must also be recognized as a leader in the community as well as in their school, and above all else, the candidate must inspire students of all backgrounds and abilities to learn, which is something Murfreesboro's award recipients fully represent.
When you look at this group of teachers, they really are amazing, and they represent Murfreesboro City well. And again, what we know is the defining factor in education is that teacher in that classroom. And so when you look at these teachers and what they do for children every day, and the fact that they are representative of so many of our teachers is really remarkable. So we do congratulate them.
Murfreesboro City Schools recently held an awards banquet to honor and recognize each of the school system's Teachers of the Year. It's only because of special teachers like these, with their endless hard work, encouragement, and unfailing dedication to the profession of teaching, that Murfreesboro's future generations continue to be inspired to rise to their full potential. Where does the time go? Well, if you have a 5-year-old, you may want to grab a tissue and start preparing yourself, because it's time for kindergarten registration. This school year isn't even over with, and it's already time to start preparing for next year, especially if you have a 5-year-old.
The more we know about your child before they start school, the better off we are. It helps us with classroom placement to know if we have 5 classrooms of kindergartners or 4 classrooms of kindergartners. It helps us to make sure that they know their teacher in advance as well, because no child really wants to come to school and not know anything about the building. So we want the kindergartners to come, be able to tour the building, know who their teacher is, and the way we do that is to know you're coming.
Registering your child for the first time can seem overwhelming, but City Schools PIO Lisa Trail gives us some helpful guidelines that make the process much easier.
Well, first of all, you don't have to bring your child, so you don't have to check them out of preschool or anything like that, but you can if you want to. They do need a proof of residence, and they do need a proof of age. A child must be 5 before August 15th of 2015 to be eligible for kindergarten for the 2015-16 school year.
Kindergarten registration for Murfreesboro City Schools will be held on May 7th from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and also during school hours on May 8th. If you live outside the city limits, in place of bringing a verification of address, you need to bring the out-of-city assignment sheet that was mailed to you showing the school that your child had been assigned. You will need to register your child at their zoned school. If you don't know what your child's zoned school is, here's where you can find out.
The way to find out for sure is to go to City Schools website. Under the Transportation Department, there is a link called EduLog, E-D-U-L-O-G. You type in your address and it'll tell you immediately where your child is zoned to school. The best, most accurate place to go is looking for that EduLog link.
If you're worried about how your child will adapt to being in a school setting, this should give you some peace of mind.
There is a phase-in for kindergarten students, and principals will get with those kindergarten students before the first day of school to let them know when they begin. So it's important to go ahead and pre-register your child. If you can't make it for that May 7th and 8th deadline date, go ahead and let the principal know you're coming. Go to your zone school and just let them know you're coming. Send them an email. We need to know that your child is entering kindergarten, so we'll have you the correct information to be able to start on time.
If you can't make it to the designated May registration dates, don't panic.
There's a registration packet online. If you go to cityschools.net, it will tell you everything you need to know for those registration dates. We would love for everybody to come, however, we realize that not everyone can make it for those dates. We'll also do registration a week prior to school beginning. But again, everything you need to know is online at that cityschools.net, and just in the search bar, type in kindergarten registration.
And if you're still in search of more information about registration or Murfreesboro City Schools.
For more information about kindergarten registration or any of the new registrations for next year, visit us at cityschools.net, or if you want to go to cityschools.net and you have a question, just click on Ask MCS and we'll get your question answered for you.
In other news, fun for the whole family is on its way. You're invited to enjoy a day of clogging, old-time music and demonstrations, over 40 crafters, hay rides, an antique car show, and live music at the 39th Annual Pioneer Days celebration at Cannonsburg Village. That's on Saturday, April 25th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Also held in conjunction with Pioneer Days, don't forget the 3rd Annual Backyard BBQ Festival, which will also be held on the historic grounds of Cannonsburg Village. Play in a cornhole tournament, participate in a rib eating contest, and watch some of the top cookers in Middle Tennessee compete in the KCBS-sanctioned Backyard Barbecue Brawl. This event attracts several thousand visitors to a day of family fun in the borough. And remember to mark your calendars for the Tennessee Valley Winds concert that will be held on Sunday, May 3rd from 2 to 3 p.m. at Old Fort Park's No. 3 Pavilion. Come out and enjoy spending a relaxing afternoon in the park, listening to tunes that we all know and love. This event is free for all ages. For more information, you can contact Melinda Tate at 615-893-2141. And with temperatures rising, that means it's almost time for kids to start jumping in the pool. But first, it's probably a good idea to brush up on their swimming skills, which is why there will be a free swimming lesson day for kids ages 5 to 13 on Saturday, May 9th at Patterson Park Pool. According to the Center for Disease Control, children who participate in a formal swim lesson are 88% less likely to become drowning victims. This event will provide free swim lessons and many other safety awareness activities. Well, that's it for this edition of In the City. For more information about the City of Murfreesboro, just visit our website at murfreesborotn.gov. And if you want to watch one of the stories that you've seen today or catch up on some of the latest city news, you can always visit the City of Murfreesboro's YouTube channel. I'm Callie Durham. Until next time, we look forward to seeing you in the city.